नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. So Rahula Sutta. This is the Sutta from Sutta Nipata. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rahula Sutta. This is the Sutta from Sutta Nipata. So I am reading along with commentary. What is the origin? How when this Sutta was given? After the Blessed One attained perfect enlightenment, he eventually traveled from the site of enlightenment to Kapilvatthu. So all of us know, first he went to Sarnath, and then he went to, again came back to Gaya, and then somebody from his father came to him and invited him to Kapilvatthu, and then he went to Kapilvatthu. There, when the boy Rahul asked him for his inheritance, saying, "Give me my inheritance ascetic," the Blessed One ordered the elder Sariputta, "Give the boy Rahul the going forth." So when he is doing his arms round in Kapilvatthu, Yashodhara shows him from her gallery to Rahula that he is your father. And Yashodhara says to him that go to your father and ask for inheritance. Then Rahul goes to him and asks for inheritance. And there the Buddha gives him robes through Sariputta. The whole account should be understood in the way it is related to the commentary to the Khandakas. After the boy Rahul had gone forth, when he came of age, the elder Sariputta gave him full ordination. So that is called Upasampada. So one has to be 20 years old from the fertilization. Fertilization in the mother's womb, one has to be 20 years old for full ordination. So when Rahula became 20 years old, he was given full ordination. The elder Mahamoggallana was his ordination teacher. The Blessed One thought, this boy comes from a high social class and so forth. He should not give rise to conceit or pride. On account of his social class, clan, family, color, beauty, or other qualities. Thus, from his childhood on until he reached the stage of the noble ones, the Blessed One often exhorted him with this discourse. So, this discourse was given to Rahula many times, not only once. That is what commentary says. To avoid any type of ego in him, in Rahul, because he is from a royal family and because he is Buddha's son, ego should not rise in him. That is why Buddha gave this discourse many times to him. So, what is this discourse? Here, this is the concise meaning of the first verse. Do you, Rahul, because of constantly living with him, not look down on the wise man because of your social class or some other quality? Is the torch bearer of humankind, so called because of bearing the lamp of knowledge and the lamp of the Dhamma teaching, always respected by you? So the complete sentence is like this. Do you, the Rahula, because of constantly living with him, not look down on the wise man because of your social class or some other quality? Is the torch bearer of humankind always respected by you? So this phrase, torch bearer of humankind, it is used for Sariputta, torch bearer of humankind, because he is the Dharma Senapati. He is the chief disciple of the Buddha. So he is called torch bearer of humankind. So is he respected by you or not? Is he always venerated by you? The Blessed One said this with reference to the Venerable Sariputta to Rahula. When this was said, the Venerable Rahula spoke the verse in reply. I do not despise the wise man, indicating, unlike a veiled person, blessed one, I do not give rise to conceit or pride because of living together. The meaning of this is clear. So in Sanskrit, there is a phrase called Ati Parichayat Avagya. Ati Parichayat Avagya. When we know somebody very closely, then we don't listen to him. We do not follow his orders. That is called in Sanskrit Ati Parichayat Avagya. So is this happening with you, with Sariputta? This is what Buddha asked Rahula. Then, exhorting him further, the Blessed One spoke the remaining verses, beginning, having given up the 5 strands of sensual pleasure. Here, the 5 strands of sensual pleasure are pleasing to beings, extremely desired, and aimed by beings, and they delight their minds. The Venerable Rahul had given them up, renouncing the home life out of faith, not because he was compelled to do so by kings or by bandits or on account of debt or on account of fear or to earn a livelihood. Therefore, the Blessed One inspired him by saying, having given up the 5 strands of sensual pleasure, so pleasing and delightful to the mind, having renounced the home life out of faith, then instructing him to pursue the practice that corresponds to this renunciation, he said, be one who makes an end to suffering. So here a doubt can arise because Rahul was only 7 or 8 years old when he was given ropes. So how can somebody say that he has taken the ropes out of faith? Because in Buddha's teaching, it is voluntary. One can always disrobe. From today's standards, when he came to age of 18, he had a choice of getting disrobed. Okay, or even before that, as a child also, he had a choice to getting disrobed because a child wants to play. He wants different toys and all those things. He wants to play on the ground and all that. So all those things he has left. The Rahul has left all the sensual pleasures, and he preferred the ropes. He did not cry while taking ropes. He did not oppose his father or mother when he was taking ropes. So the Buddha says that you have taken the ropes out of faith. So you have to end the suffering now because you have taken these ropes out of faith. Okay. It might be asked, wasn't Rahula forcibly made to go forth when all he wanted was his inheritance? In that case, why did the Blessed One say, having renounced the home life out of faith? In reply, it is said, because he was disposed to renunciation. For the Venerable Rahul had been disposed to renunciation for a long time. In a previous life, having seen to the novice Uparevata, the son of Buddha Padmuttara, when he became a king of the Nagas, named Sankha, he gave alms for 7 days and made an aspiration for such a status. From then on, endowed with the aspiration, endowed with the undertaking, he fulfilled the parmis for 1 lakh eons until he was reborn into his last existence. Thus, the Blessed One knew that he had the disposition to renunciation. For this knowledge is one of the Tathagata's powers. Therefore, he said, having renounced the home life out of faith, or alternatively, the purport here is, thus, for a long time having renounced the home life out of faith, now be one who makes an end to suffering. Now, to show him the practice for making an end to the suffering of the round, starting from the beginning, the Blessed One said, associated with good friends. So, even in Mangala Sutta, the first Mangala is Asevanacha Balanam, dissociate from bad people, and Panditanancha Sevaram, associate with wise people. So here also, the importance of satsanga. We hear the word satsanga in India many times. So the good company. So Buddha also starts the teaching of Dhamma with satsanga, associated with good friends and so forth. Here, good friends are those who excel in good behavior and other qualities. Those associating with them grow in good behavior and other virtues, just as large sal trees, supported by the Himalayas, grow in their roots and other parts. Hence, he said, associate with good friends and resort to a remote lodging, secluded, a place with little noise. Since a lodging that is remote, distant, secluded, undisturbed, with little noise, with the sounds of deer, boars, and other creatures, is a place where the perception of forest arises. One should resort to such a lodging. Be moderate in eating. So we also go to our retreats to remote places. We can meditate at our home also, but at times, at least once in a year, we go out for 10 days, like in Nagarjun Sagar or Kalimpong or Deer Park, where there is less noise. Be moderate in eating. Know the right measure. Know the amount to accept and the amount to consume. Here, when there is only a little of the atom to be given and the donor wants to give little, one who knows the amount to accept should take just a little. When there is only a little of the atom to be given, though the donor wants to give a lot, one should take just a little. When the atom to be given is more ample, but the donor wants to give a little, one should take just a little. When the atom to be given is more ample and the donor wants to give a lot, one should take after ascertaining one's own capacity, thinking moderation is praised by the blessed one. So even if a lot of things are available to us when we are doing a meditation retreat, and a lot of food is there, a lot of food items are there. Sometimes at some very good centers, some very rich meditation centers, lot of items are kept in the lunch, in the breakfast, and in the evening also. But we should think that moderation is praised by the blessed one, and we should take only little. One who knows the amount to consume should consume food after reflecting carefully upon it, as like sun's flesh and like the grease for an axle. Thus, by the above verse, the blessed one instructed Rahul to associate with good friends, which is helpful to the spiritual life. And under the heading of lodging and food, he encouraged him to undertake good behavior in the use of requisites. Now, since wrong livelihood is adopted out of craving for robes and so forth, the blessed one spoke this verse: do not give rise to craving for robe and almsfood. So there are some monks who join the Sangha for robes and almsfood. So the Buddha says to Rahul, do not give rise to craving for robe and almsfood, prohibiting him from this and enjoining him to undertake good behavior through purification of livelihood. Here, requisites refers to requisites in type of illness. For these four grounds for craving to arise in bhikkhus, namely robes and so forth, do not give rise to craving, do not generate craving, dwell without giving rise to it, seeing the danger in the way stated thus. These four requisites, which are just for the purpose of concealing the private parts and so forth, are like antidotes for the persons who are constantly ill and reinforcements for this very feeble body, which is like a dilapidated house. For what reason? Do not come back to the world again. Since one who gives rise to craving for these things is dragged along by craving and comes back to this world again, do not give rise to craving for them. In such a way, you will not come back to this world again. So even if one becomes a monk and he keeps on craving for robes, for alms, for the medicines, and for the bedding, these are the four requisites of the monk. If a monk keeps on craving for these things, then he will come back to this world. He will not make an end of suffering. So do not crave for this. This is what Buddha is saying to Rahul. When such was said, the venerable Rahul thought, the blessed one told me, do not give rise to craving for a robe. And he undertook two austere practices connected with robes, namely using a robe made of rags and using only 3 ropes. He thought, the blessed one told me, do not give rise to cravings for alms food. And he undertook 5 ascetic practices connected with alms food, namely going on alms round, eating only 1 meal a day, walking on alms round without skipping houses along the route, eating only from the alms bowl, and refusing food brought after the meal has started. He thought, the blessed one told me, do not give rise to craving for a lodging, and he undertook 6 ascetic practices connected with the lodging, namely dwelling in the forest, dwelling out in the open, dwelling at the foot of a tree, accepting any bedding for use, dwelling in a charnel ground, and the seater's practice. He thought, the Blessed One told me, do not give rise to craving for requisites in time of illness. And with respect to all requisites, he became content through the three types of contentment, namely contentment according to one's gains, contentment according to one's ability, contentment according to suitability, in the way an amenable clansman respectfully accepts instruction. So thus Rahula started doing more than what Buddha said. He started some austere practices uh, in connection with these four requisites of the monk. Thus, having enjoined the Venerable Rahul to undertake good behavior through purification of livelihood, the Blessed One now spoke the verse that begins, be restrained by the Pati Mokha. To enjoin him to undertake the remaining kinds of good behavior as well as serenity and insight. Pati Mukha are the rules of the Vinaya, and every Uposatha, every Ashtami and every Purnima and every Chaturdashi of Krishna Paksha, they have this Patimukha ceremony where all the rules are recited. And if somebody has broken some rule, that Bhikkhu has to admit in front of the whole Sangha that I have broken this rule. And then the Sangha will give some punishment or some solution to that. So this Patimokha is the discipline of the monks to enjoin him to undertake the remaining kinds of good behavior as well as serenity and insight. Serenity and insight means Shamath and Vipassana. Okay. Here by the first two lines, he enjoins him to undertake good behavior through restraint by the Patimokha and good behavior through restraint of the sense faculties. And though five sense faculties are stated here, because they are evident, it should be understood that the sixth, the mind faculty, is also stated through the characteristic because it belongs to same class. Let your mindfulness be directed to the body. He says, Kaya Gato Sati. Your mindfulness should be directed to the body. So when we are paying our attention to the smile, and when we are doing the relaxed state, our attention is automatically directed towards our body. So this is also mindfulness of body, dream also. When you are established in the fourfold purification of good behavior, let your mindfulness be directed to the body by developing it through the delineation of the four elements, the fourfold clear comprehension, mindfulness of breathing, perception of the repulsiveness of nutriment, and so forth. So various types of meditation he is telling. The meditation on four dhatus and the meditation on satipatthanas, the meditation on breathing, the meditation on the asubha. This is what he is telling him. What is meant is develop it. Be full of disenchantment towards the world. The meaning is be dissatisfied with the round of samsara. See that there is no delight in the entire world. So the main thing is why we are walking on the path of the Buddha, because we want to come out of the cycle of life and death. So the main thing is we should be always aware that there is no real happiness or real sukha in this whatever experience we have through these five senses. There is no real sukha. So we should be dissatisfied with the round of samsara. That is what Buddha says to Rahul. Having at this point shown the stage of access concentration partaking of penetration, now showing the stage of absorption, he spoke the verse beginning, avoid the mark of sensual objects and so forth. So he is telling you to do animitta dhyana. So once we reach our quiet mind, so you must have listened to Delson many times that Delson tells us to go for animitta dhyana after reaching quiet mind for a long time. So it's objectless meditation. So Buddha is saying same thing to Rahula. Go for objectless meditation. Avoid, relinquish by not paying attention to it, the mark of the beautiful, which is the basis for lust. So no object for meditation. Otherwise, you become attached to the object of meditation also. Hence, specifying this, he said, which is beautiful and connected with lust. Develop your mind on the unattractive. Develop your mind in such a way that meditation on the unattractive nature of the body, whether sentient or unsentient, flourishes. One pointed, well concentrated. One pointed means means collected. Okay. The word in Pali is ekagga, so uh, it is nowadays translated as collected. By means of excess concentration, well concentrated by way of absorption concentration. The meaning is develop your mind in such a way that it becomes like this. So, in short, he is telling us to practice shamatha and vipassana to develop the mind. The words used in the commentaries, they may not be uh, in line with the terms we use in the TWIM. So, but we can understand he's telling us to practice collectedness and insight. Thus, having shown him the stage of absorption, now to show him insight, he spoke the verse that begins and develop the markless state. Here, develop the markless state, animitta dhyana, the objectless meditation. What is meant is when your mind is concentrated or collected by the collectedness that partakes of penetration, develop insight. For insight acquires the designation, the markless state. On the basis of such statements, that knowledge and of contemplation of impermanence is liberated from the mark of permanence and the markless liberation. And it is called thus, because it does not seize upon the mark of lust and so forth. As it is said, friends, by non-attention to all marks, I entered and dwelled in the markless mental concentration. While I was dwelling in such a state, my consciousness ran after marks. This is in Sayutta Nikaya, 4th 269. Buddha was telling about his own experience before he became enlightened. Discard the latent tendency to conceit. Having obtained the perception of impermanence through this development of the markless state, in stages, discard, abandon, relinquish the latent tendency to conceit in accordance with such statements as this. For one who perceives impermanence, Meghya, the perception of non-self becomes stabilized. One who perceives non-self attains the eradication of the conceit, I am. This is from the Meghya Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. Buddha has said this. For one who perceives impermanence, Meghya, the perception of non-self becomes stabilized. So we have to consider, as Bhante Vimlaramsi says in the discourse 6 sets of 6, or the Buddha has said in the discourse 6 sets of 6, all the experiences we have to consider as not me, not mine, not myself. And how do we consider this? How do we consider something as not me, not mine, not myself? And in that very discourse, Buddha says that arising and passing of everything is evident. Arising and passing of the eyes, arising and passing away of the forms, arising and passing away of the ears, arising and passing away of the words, and so on. So it is evident. So on the basis of impermanence, we develop the knowledge of anatta, the knowledge of no self, not self. Then by breaking through conceit, you will live in tranquil peace. Then by breaking through conceit with its destruction, vanishing, abandoning, and relinquishment by the noble path, you will be at peace, quenched, cool, devoid of all distress and fever, until you attain final Nibbana. Through the Nibbana element without residue remaining, you will live by dwelling in this or that fruition attainment, whether that of emptiness, the markless, or the desireless. Thus, he concludes the discourse with its culmination in arhatship. Following this, the compilers of the text added the statement that begins, in such a way the blessed one, after being exalted in such a way, when his qualities maturing in liberation had ripened, at the conclusion of the shorter discourse of an exhortation to Rahula, the venerable Rahul, along with many thousands of deities, attained arhatship. So, this is the discourse to the Rahula. We have read the commentary. Now we will read the original discourse also. I will go to the original discourse. It's a discourse in Sutta Pitaka. This is Sutta Pitaka. This is how we look for the discourses. This is Khuddaka Nikaya. In Khuddaka Nikaya, there are 15 books. So this is the discourse from Sutta Nipata. So we go to Sutta Nipata. In Sutta Nipata, there are different Vaggas. So this is from the second chapter, the lesser chapter. This is the 12th Sutta from the lesser chapter, 2.12. Sorry, 11th Sutta, Rahula Sutta. So, Kacchi abhinna samvasa navajanasi panditam ukkadharo manussanam Kacchi apachitotaya. Kacchi abhinna samvasa. Because of your association with him for long time. Kacchi means are you doing any time? Abhinna samvasa means because of the long association. Navajanasi panditam. Are you disobeying him, the pandita, the wise man, the Sariputta? Ukkadharo manussanam. Ukkadharo means the torch bearer. Ukka means torch and dharo means bearer. Manussanam, for the human beings. He is the torch bearer of human beings, Sariputta. The torch for all humanity. Kacchi apachitotaya. Are you disobeying him sometimes because of being a long association? So the Rahul says to him, Naham abhinna samvasa avajanami panditam ukkadharo manussanam nicham apachito maya. See, my father, the blessed one, Naham, not me, abhinna samvasa, because of the long association, avajanami panditam. I am not disobeying him. Ukkadharo manussanam, the torch bearer of the human beings. Nicham apachito mayam. I am always having lot of honor for him. So the Buddha says to Rahul now, one panchakam gune hitva, one who has given up 5 sensual stimulations. Piya rupe manorume. So these 5 sensual stimulations, they are very delightful and very pleasing to the human beings. Those you have left because you have taken ropes. Tadhaya gharani khamma. So you have left the home with faith. Let them make an end to suffering. Dukharasanta karo bhava. Mitte bhajassu kalyane. So you have to find friends who are kalyan mittas. Pantancha sayanasanam. You have to stay in remote lodgings. Secluded and quiet. Vivittam appa nighosam. Nighosam means noise. Appa means less noise. Appa means less. And eat in moderation. Matanyu ho hi bhojane. Matanyu. Mat means the quantity. And new means knower. You should be knower of the quantity, how much bhat you should take, how much rice you should take. Bhatta matanyu it is called. Hohi bhojane. Bhojan means the meal. So, chivare pindapate cha, ropes and arms food. Pachaye sayanasane, requisites and lodgings. Don't crave for such things. Ete sutannam ma akasi. Don't come back to this world again. Malokam punaragami. Be restrained in the monastic code. Samvuto patimokhasmin. And the five sense faculties. Indriyesu cha panchasu. With mindfulness immersed in the body. Sati kaya gata tattu. So, your mindfulness should be in your body. Be full of disillusionment. Nibbida bahulo bhava. Nibbida bahulo bhava. Don't take interest in any of the worldly things. Turn away from the sign. Nimittam parivajjehi. So, here I can say that nimitta is used for any object of any sensual sense door. Okay. So, you should always avoid any type of attachment to any nimitta. That is attractive, provoking lust. Subham raga upasannitam. So, any object, any sense object which arises lust in you, you must avoid that. Asubhaya chittam bhavehi. You must meditate that as asubha. You must see that what danger is in it. So all these sense objects, they look very lucrative and they look very delighting and very pleasurable. But you should see danger in those objects. Ekagam susamahitam, with collectedness and good samadhi. You should see that these objects are in the end going to bring suffering. Meditate on the signless and do objectless meditation. Animittancha bhavehi mana anusayamujjaha. Give up the tendency to conceit. And when you comprehend conceit, tato mana bhisamaya, you will live at peace. So, when you give up conceit, you will live at peace. Upasanto charisati. This is how the Buddha regularly advised Venerable Rahula with these verses. Itham sudam bhagava ayasmantam ra. Was many times, many times by Buddha like this. This is what this said in the end. So there is another translation also. We will go through it also. This is translation by Lawrence Khantipolo means. The Buddha says to Rahul, from living together constantly, the teacher you don't scorn, torchbearer to humanity, is he by you revered? And Rahul says, from living together constantly, the teacher I scorn not, torchbearer to humanity, is by me revered. And the Buddha says, having laid go five sense desires and forms that are dear, delighting mind, with faith renounce the household life, be one who dukkha ends. Keep company with noble friends, dwell in a lonely practice place, secluded, having little noise, with food be moderate, robes as well as food from alms, with shelter also remedies. For these things no craving form, so turn not to the world again. By patimokha stay restrained, and by the five sense faculties practice bodily mindfulness to be dispassionate. Avoid those objects beautiful which may be linked with lust. On the unlovely, one pointed, well concentrated, grow the mind, develop then the signless state with tendency to pride, let go. By fully understanding it, truly as peaceful you will fare. In this way, the Radiant One with these verses frequently exhorted the Venerable Rahula. So, thus, we have read the today's sutta, very inspiring sutta. And are there any questions?
Really, it's a good sutta, sir, which tells about to have a good spiritual friends and having senses restrained and not coming into the world again by not having craving. It's very good sutta, sir. Sir, in this meeting, we have Neelam Sharma madam, who has done a retreat in Kalimpong, sir.
Good, good. So,
And,
how was your retreat, Neelam?
Neelam madam, can you share your experiences, madam? And Sharma sir was also there with us. VU Sharma sir.
Yeah, I spoke to Sharma. I
Yes,
spoke to Sharma. Yeah.
Namaste, sir.
So, are there any questions?
I would like to tell you this particular sutta has covered maximum from first jhana to eighth jhana, the signless meditation. Before that is acquire, develop the enchantment. And finally goes up to conceit of to get rid of conceit. That is the one actually it is required. And finally you will be in peace if at all you come to that stage, eighth jhana.
Very nice. Very good.
Because in the first two stages, that is precepts, including wise men association, and samadhi up to signless meditation, it was brought to that level with disenchantment, developing disenchantment.
So the whole path is covered in one very short.
Path is covered up to signless jhana.
Yeah.
And you will be in the peace finally. That is just before Nibbana. But whereas the people who are the practitioners, there they will get restlessness. The real practitioner. Because of signless. What Mr. Sachin, you come out with your frame of face. Hello? He left.
Sachin, he's asking comments.
Sir. So actually, I was with call with Neelam madam. She told that she has network problem. She could not able to share.
Okay, leave it.
Okay, that is okay.
Something today only I am seeing you after 2 days. After on 13th or 11th we came.
Yes, 11th we came, sir. It was good journey from Buddhapada to Hyderabad with sir. Good,
and even today Rohi is also available, Mr. Rohi.
Yes, sir. Rohi Sethi sir is available. Yes, sir.
So, Dr. Rohi, do you want to say something?
Let him speak because he is a close associate of Goenka.
Kindly unmute.
Sorry. One of the very good suttas, and I think it's been recommended by many teachers. One of the most important suttas given by the Buddha. Very inspiring. More
So
sermon.
because of commentary, we could understand more because of the commentary.
Truly,
Yeah.
sir.
Because you brought all the commentaries, so we are able to say a few words before you.
Truly, sir.
And what we did in our jhanas with Bhante Vimla Ramji and going for a restlessness.
We have
Okay.
Nanda Perere madam. She is also a twin meditator. Madam, can you
Yeah.
share anything in your?
She,
Nanda madam, can you share, madam?
Sachinji, if you
No.
ask each person to share, then they will stop coming for the they'll stop coming for the talks. Just
Some
say
people they don't judge. Some
Some
people
people-
they just want to listen. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
just say
Thank you
Yeah.
very much indeed. It's a very good sutta to listen to. Once again, thank you very much.
Okay. Good. So Sachin, you can share the screen of sharing merits, I think.
Yes, sir. I will share now, sir.
Hmm. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief.
May all
May all
beings
beings share this
share this
merit
merit that we have
that
this
we have
required
just acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, Devas and Nagas of mighty power, share in these merits of ours. May they long protect the Buddha dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
so,
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thanking you all, sir.
Yes.
Wishing all happiness.
Thank you.